And, of course, the punter. I mean, how can we not forget about the punter? Presley Harvin.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. So there were some good things that happened last night. But, again, if you were looking for some deep meaning from what the quarterbacks did, I don't know how you could really come up with anything other than we need to see more.
I think you bring up a good point. You mentioned Presley Harvin, and we really didn't talk about the rookies as a whole. Najee Harris, I think we pretty much saw what to expect from him during the couple of series that he played. You mentioned Kendrick Green. You mentioned Presley Harvin. There's also Quincy Roche. He got a sack last night on Ben DiNucci, former Pine Richland Ram and Pitt Panther. But the rookie class as a whole, I mean, we only saw maybe 4 or 5 guys really have opportunities to make impact. I think Trey Norwood actually had a play he made yesterday, too. I think he almost picked the pass off. So we saw this rookie class as a whole really make a great first impression last night.
Well, no question. I mean, Harris is the guy, obviously, people that were wondering what he was going to do. He looks to me like he's already, ready to be a pretty good running back in the NFL. Harvin was obviously really good. I thought Kendrick Green, all things considered, when you figure it, he's only played a few games at center. I mean, I don't know that he blew the world, he blew the world away, but I thought that he did a pretty good job and showed that he can actually be up to the job and will get better as he gets more experience. So I think what you saw from the rookies was pretty good last night.
Let's kind of shift gears here because talking about on the defensive side of things, I know we talked about it briefly here, just a lot of discussion about the defense as a whole, but also we did not really talk about as far as the defensive backfield. I mean, this team forced 3 turnovers yesterday, so there was some sort of progress that we've seen as far as what we've heard in practice, as far as Terrell Austin, the defensive backs coach, really hammering home the point of being able to force turnovers. They forced a really impressive fumble in the first half that they eventually recovered. I believe Antoine Brooks recovered that one. So just from the defensive side of things, how are you as far as what you're seeing there and if there's any kind of progress being made?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, again, it starts with the guys like Alex Highsmith that were able to put pressure on the quarterbacks. You do that, all of a sudden, it becomes pretty easy in the defensive backfield. I thought a number of guys got in there. They were able to do some things to show that maybe they belong or that they, have a chance to make the team. I thought in coverage, I thought their linebackers were pretty bad all night. I thought Robert Spillane, he had, 3 or 4 tackles. But he got, 3 or 4 tackles. But I don't know that he did anything really all that special. And frankly, he got lost in coverage a little bit. So they've got to do a pretty good job here in the next 2 or 3 weeks of identifying the guys from that linebacker spot that are capable of not just stopping the run, but also, doing what they need to do in coverage and pass coverage. And, I just don't know that I saw a whole lot of things that I really were, liked from that group in terms of, covering receivers and tight ends and whatnot.
Yeah, that's going to be a concern for a lot of people going into the season. That's one of the biggest things that there was a lot of turnover in that defensive backfield, so that's definitely something worth mentioning. We got to take a break. When we come back, you mentioned Josh Allen. Granted, it was in relation to what we saw from the Steelers, but we got to talk about that contract. Plus, we're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600. Plus, taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. Want to hear from you? We'll do that in a couple minutes. Stick around.